Anyway, now we are in the crux of high tier. First up in high tier is going to be, in my opinion, the worst fighting game character, Ken. I still think Ken's the worst. I know Ken has some better matchups than Ryu, but I think overall Ken is less consistent. He has cheese, sure, but it's you can fall out of his stuff. And there have been a lot of tournament sets where people fall out of a Ken Shoryu and then Ken dies for it. So we can accidentally lose. Yeah, I can accidentally win, but so can Ryu. So it's no different, right? High tier. Definitely super strong character. Auto turnaround stupid. Nair into down tilt is ridiculous. The combos he has are really good. Decent edge guarding, decent disadvantage depending on the matchup. Good versus sword characters, not great versus owners, but neither is, like, none of the fighting game characters are good versus owners except sometimes Kazuya. If you think Ken is better than Ryu, sure, I understand. But both characters have just good stuff, right? I'm actually gonna put Ryu here as well, because they're both in high tier. I'm just gonna put characters between them until it like makes sense. They have stupid auto turnaround, they have great ledge dropping, they kill super early, Ryu's more consistent at killing, whereas Ken can randomly get earlier kills than Ryu can, because like up air combos into up air Shoryu off the top, whereas Ryu is like, he has better Shoryu because you can't fall out of it, and also he has Tatsu. Tatsu's way better for Ryu, except specifically on like Fox. Just has a better fireball, is able to camp. The one thing that Ken has that in my opinion is just objectively better is the ability to do roundhouse out of like combos, so it's like down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, you know, roundhouse, as opposed to Ryu's, which I think that's his heavy jab. So they're both incredibly strong characters. They just lose really bad to a couple of really, really important characters. Get out your books, because we are reading with this next character. Hero. He has spells, he has buffs, he has side B, he has up B, he has up tilt, he has a lot of really good moves. It's pretty rare that Hero randomly loses in this game, because the only thing to like randomly lose as Hero is like get edge guarded and don't get zoom, which would suck, but most of the time you get zoom, so it's fine. But do God does this character randomly win? Whack, thwack, kaboom, magic burst, crits. Like everything about this character is just terrifying. You get random shield breaks because you have like psych up forward smash and it just breaks people's shield, and then he kills you at 30 with a forward smash because he's gonna roll a buff, because of course he's gonna roll a buff. It's hard to like say like, oh, this is where he is, because depending on the game he's literally a different character. You can just roll for buffs and be consistent like Aka does in Japan, or you can roll big and do kabooms and stuff like that, like Kabi and Beast Mode Paul will. I think there's another pretty good hero, Sparkle, I think is hero. You gotta really know the matchup, and even if you do, you might read a little slow and then die anyway. So fun. This will probably rattle a lot of people, but I think one of the most overrated characters in the game is Sheik. I think Sheik, if you play Sheik perfectly and at 100% all the time, Sheik is like top 15 or 20. But the problem is, if you are wrong even a little bit, you lose. Sheik is not a character that can accidentally win. Sheik is a character that outplays you and does her combo, and then just edge traps you and does really good stuff. But she doesn't accidentally win a lot of times, if you understand how the character works. Even though she has -2 fair and great aerials and great mobility, is a little bit stubby and light. If you don't get the kill confirms, like the drag down up air into down smash or forward smash or raindrop, you're not killing with this character until you get an edge guard with like Needles Bouncing Fish, which sometimes can last until like 150 or 160, and if a character has max rage against Sheik and just decides to throw out a move, it might trade and you explode into candy. Sheik gets gimmicked so hard. Any heavy character, even though Sheik should theoretically beat Bowser and DK and Incineroar and all those characters, I feel like Sheik is losing if she is not up an entire stock. Like if Sheik is at 20% last stock and Incineroar is at 130, Incineroar is winning in my head. Good character, but I think overrated. I know like a lot of people in Japan put Sheik in like top 10, which is fucking insane to me. I mean, they like value, like yeah, play perfect. But then they put Piccolo, I don't get it. Next up is a character that is also a ninja. Greninja. I've always been kind of a Greninja not believer. Again, he's a good character. High tier is a good character. He's very simple. Greninja as a secondary, so good. What a great secondary, because he's simple and effective in matchups that are good for him. But if there's a matchup that's not simple because you can't just whiff punish with dash attack, this character struggles. Also, he has like really specific kill confirms, because down tilt up smash, even though it's good, randomly doesn't work on platforms. And also the percent window is kind of small for it to kill. Then he has randomly forward smash, he has down tilt or dash attack into forward air, which are good, but not fantastic. They're not the most consistent moves. His advantage is crazy, and he can randomly win, but also he can randomly struggle to kill, and need to kill with like forward throw or up throw, and then he's gonna get edge guarded because his recovery is kind of bad. Greninja doesn't have an out of shield option, but also he has dash attack. I don't know why everyone's like, yeah, man, Greninja's top 10. It's like, dude, look at Europe, and it's like, wow, I'm studying who is good, and then Tarek, who's a Kazuya player now. This next character has had a resurgence as of late, but not because of Kamame, who still dropped the character, but Megaman. Character's kind of a masher, low-key. MPG spams down air and forward air. Those moves are good. He is a really interesting keep away character with a lot of interesting tools, that are very different from a lot of other characters. Downer is amazing, Leaf Shield's amazing, Pellet's obviously great. You have great aerials. He sometimes struggles to kill, but also sometimes randomly kills you at 50 because he has like Z-drop, back air, up tilt, which kills super early and does a lot of damage. He has good edge guarding, nasty shield break setups. There are a lot of US Megamans that are doing well. I don't remember if there's any in Europe, and I know Japan has Repo. And in my opinion, he does pretty well versus like most characters. I mean, he struggles with some. Pika, Mario, Fox are definitely big issues for him. I feel like is solid enough to win. Doesn't really have a bunch of cheese, except for like random setups that you have to be ready for. Like, he's not gonna always kill you early, except for like up tilt specifically. He's just solid, but it's also hard to randomly kill Mega Man because he has a great disadvantage in like up B and then down air and sight and down B and like all those things. So it's hard to randomly kill Mega Man unless you're one of the aforementioned characters or like Kazuya, who kills everybody. Next up, we have Corrin. I think Corrin's crazy. Amazing neutral. She's a little slow, but she has amazing neutral with forward air and nair and back air and down tilt and grab. Some of the best juggling in the game because up air is huge and kills you at 100. She has pin, which is one of the most unique kill moves in the game. One of the most unique moves in the game, period. She has a great advantage state. She has great edge guarding. Kind of exploitable recovery, but that's only if you're hitting the very edge guardable, like the very edge guarding characters like Game & Watch Pika. Leo played the character for a while. Shattuck is amazing with the character. I'm pretty sure you still have B from Japan. Corrin, in my opinion, is a really, really solid character. Again, does she lose to some rushdown characters? Absolutely, but also she does 1,000,000,000% and accidentally win because she Fair Dragon Fang shots you at 55. So, yeah. Next up, we got Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon. Falcon's really good. Falcon is the definition of accidentally winning. And because it's up big, up up, he doesn't really accidentally lose, except, again, like Game & Watch Pika specifically. His combos are some of the most lethal in the game. Literally, like, probably like the 4th, 5th, or 7th, top like 7 most lethal combos behind like Steve, Kazuya, Pika, Mario, Brawler. I know a lot of the Falcons don't necessarily believe super high in Falcon anymore. I think OJ does from EU, but also I'm pretty sure he plays Wolf too. So like the solo Falcons, like Nixie doesn't go to that much even though he believes in the character, but Fatality is starting to have like a lower opinion just because some other characters are just accidentally win harder. Really good safe landing aerials. Sometimes it doesn't work with like side B and stuff, but he has like good edge guarding. He has, you know, good enough recovery. Also, everything combos into knee. Upper combos into knee, nair combos into knee, downer combos into knee. Kill throw with back throw. You have great jab, you have good ledge trapping, and then again, he has IDJ combos. Maybe like worse than people think, but still really good. Next up is the character that has a very similar name to the last one, Falco. Falco is one of the best advantage states in the game and one of the single best up tilts in the game. I think I put it third. He has drag down combos. He is one of the characters that will actually just go edge guard you, which is something that a lot of characters don't, so he has a niche in terms of that. He has really good killing because up tilt back air exists and down tilt exists and back air neutral exists, and again, throw off stage nair or forward air edge guard exists. Is he the worst Star Fox character still? Yeah, absolutely, because the other two are f***ing broken. But he's still a really good character. I think he's a little slow, so he does struggle with characters that are faster and can pressure him because he doesn't really have a great get off me option. I mean, he has a frame 3 nair, but it doesn't really hit super well, unfortunately. He is anti-zoner. I don't know if there's a single zoner, like a hard zoner that beats Falco, because he also has a frame 1 reflector, so he beats characters like Samus and Pac-Man, and I think even he beats like R.O.B. He deals 70% easy, like up throw, IDJ, up air into landing nair, into up tilt, up air, or up air fair, and then you're off stage and he has to edge guard, and he can edge guard you. Like, silly character. You know who's also crazy, but also worse than a lot of people thought they were, and both of the people that were the premier players of this character don't play them as much anymore, except for specific matchups. Olimar! I hate the fact that Dabuz is still going to use Olimar against me. It pisses me off. But Olimar has lost 2 of their 3 biggest reps for the most part. Shutone still plays Olimar in conjunction with Pyramithra, but he is a Pyramithra main. And then Dabuz is a Rosalina Luma and Min Min main over an Olimar player. He plays Olimar specifically for like Snake and me. Character is good, but character also randomly loses. The meta just progressed to be better than him because Steve does really well against him. Pyramithra does really well versus him. Kazuya, even though he probably like is losing, is still terrifying and like not worth it. Sora does really well versus the character, and those are all the DLC characters. The meta is just favoring swords at the moment, and Olimar has never done well versus swords. Also, the meta has like hard anti-zoners like Falco. Like there are a lot of characters that can just randomly beat Olimar if he kills purples. It's a lot harder. His neutral isn't super great. It's just obnoxious. One negative of Olimar is he's probably like a bottom 20 or 30 character getting off the ledge, because like it's either purple side B or you're fucked. That sucks. And he has frame 2 whistle, but a lot of characters have multi-hit or just have such a good fast fall with their up air, like a lot of sword characters, like up air fast fall, that like you up air it whistles and then they fast fall, can't get hit, and then hit Olimar for trying to hit a button. Literally all the rest of the characters are incredibly meta relevant. This is like low-key where I want to put top tier, but everyone complained that I have a top tier of bigger than 25 characters, so I stopped it at 25 characters. But in my head, all of these characters are top tier, except for one of them. And that person's next, Diddy Kong. It's hard to value Tweak's opinion sometimes because he also thought pre-patch Wario, who was clearly top 5, was like bad. But Diddy Kong won a major. Aaron has won majors. But that doesn't mean I don't think they can be they're not overrated, because commonality doesn't necessarily mean how good the character is. Everyone's bad at dealing with monkey flip, and no one camps the ledge. And then the people that do well versus the Diddy Kongs. Diddy is also quite a difficult character technically, because he needs to Z-drop a lot of arrows because he wants to keep banana, but also he's sometimes really simple because it's hold and shield, like it's shield, roll, 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 banana forward smash. And sometimes that's just how the character works. He has simple win cons, but also I just think his win cons and his stuff are a little bit more ambiguous and more read-based than some of the characters we have above. And he's not blatantly fast enough to just be super, super strong. You can tell that I'm not biased because I lose to this character most of the times I play them in pro play, but I still don't think they're super broken, and that is Zero Suit Samus. The second most mobile character in the game. As I kind of mentioned, Zero Suit is a hard character to play in pools. It's like Sephiroth. It's just like, oh yeah, you have to play against the opponent for Zero Suit. But the tools she has are ridiculous. Frame 1 jab, nair flip kick, combos, up air, zair. Her mobility is literally just, it's her mobility. It's 100% her mobility and down B. Make this character impossible to catch. Her disadvantage is so good because of it. Her neutral is so good because of it. Her mix-ups are so good because she's just so fast and can do anything, and you have to be scared of burst ranges that like barely exist on any other character in this game. So Zero Suit gets a huge plus for that. A lot of people still put Zero Suit in like top 10 or 15, so this is like double that in terms of characters. This is, I think, 30th. So she's hard to play and has a ton of bad matchups. Like, ignoring Pika, just take me out of the equation, right? Because Mars is going to beat every Pika. Roy and Chrom are still really hard. You have Fox that's hard. You have, in my opinion, Peach does well versus Zero Suit. In my opinion, Shulk and Wolf do well versus Zero Suit. In my opinion, Kazuya does well versus Zero Suit. And Sora does well versus Zero Suit. And Diddy does well versus Zero Suit. And Olimar does amazingly well versus Zero Suit. And Falco does well versus... Like, she has a lot of hard matchups. And while she has some cheese with Nair down B, Nair fair down B, the cheese isn't super easy. But the thing is, she has so much control that for the most part, it doesn't matter. It's really hard to cheese a Zero Suit. But yeah, Zero Suit's crazy. But also not super strong, which is crazy. Next up is Psychic Boy, Ness. This character is a menace in the meta currently, which doesn't make sense. Because like, Ness loses to sword characters, but Ness is literally more common and gets more results than almost any character currently. I'm pretty sure it's like Steve, R.O.B, Pyramithra, and Ness. Maybe Samus is up there. He's one of the 5 most winning characters in the game for some reason. I don't know why. There's a billion Nesses. And again, this isn't even my bias. That's objective. But there are so many good Ness players because you have Gact, Send, Syrup, Pika Chris, S1. Also, you have Atata. There are so many good Ness players, and they have good reason. Ness is one of the characters that is the best at killing in the game. He kills the way heavy characters kill, except he's not heavy, and he's mobile, and he has magnet, and he has kill throws. He nullifies energy projectiles, which, you know, I hate him for that. And his mobility isn't the best, and he has moves that are kind of big, but the thing is, his air mobility is ridiculous, and he's floaty enough in a good way. He has magnet to help disadvantage. He has fly mag combos. He has some of the most untapped potential of any character, but you can also play him pretty simply. Like, you can play him simply with just matching your moves and just being like, well, just spamming good moves. But then like the high skill cap of like fly mag combos and multi mag combos, he's so scary. And he can also be like, I'm losing, down smash to the ledge at 40. Like, he just kills people. I watched the Syrup games recently. He just did that to Mars, and he just did that to the Buzz. It's like, I'm losing, threw you off stage. I threatened you to knock off high, down smash, and you die. His win cons are so strong, and his win con is also, oh, you're at 95, let me get a grab. Also, PK Fire is broken. PK Fire on platform is like one of the dumbest and like most strong neutral things you can do in the entire game of like any character. Full hop, double jump, PK Fire down on platform is broken. I avoid that for the most part, but it's just ridiculous. Silly character. You know who's also a silly character? The best player in the world plays him. Byleth. I think this is probably the highest I've put Byleth on the tier list before. Byleth literally plays a trifecta of 3 moves in neutral, and it's like top 10 neutral in the game. Nair, forward air, dash attack. Slingshot's so good for Byleth. He can keep people out, he can pressure in mid-range, he can burst in with dash attack. You have to sometimes shield because of the threat of dash attack and Nair, and then he grabs you and does down throw back air, kill you at 55 at the ledge. He also has some huge cheese when it comes to forward smash at the ledge, up B stuff, and shield breaks. And Leo does that all the time. Like, Leo just gets up Bs at 35 and kills people. You saw it at Summit. You saw it versus Akola at Ludwig's. You see, like, it all the time. It's hard. But also, Byleth has... The reason that edgeguarding is almost meta-relevant is because Leo, when he plays Byleth, is an edgeguarding-ass dude. He edgeguards so much with this character because up B is just a checkmate. Like, there are, like, I think 70% of the cast or 60% of the cast, when they don't have a double jump, they just die because you just grab ledge, drop off up B, and they just die at 50. This character's really good. I played them for a bit, and I'm like, oh wow, this character's like good. Because I just saw it, right? Like, I see Leo play, and I was like, wow, I understand it now because like Slingshot can kind of help me. And then I played this character, and I was like, oh, they're ridiculous. They do have some really bad matchups like Pika, but again, Pika's not really relevant. And then they get outshined by a couple of sword characters. It's just Leo's fucking god. Terry's the top of high tier, or next to the top of high tier. Obviously, we don't have as much Terry anymore because the best Terry, Riddles, is a Kazuya main now and only plays Terry for certain matchups. But wow, this character's dumb. You have just really strong neutral, you have invincible moves, you have auto turnaround. The negative of this character is he does not have a kill throw, which is a little bit of a big deal. But overall, this character is just ridiculous because he just hits your shield anyway and then sometimes breaks it with like down tilt, up tilt, power geyser, and you have to parry the power geyser. Yeah, Terry's ridiculous. You can SDI him sometimes, but like sometimes you just get hit anyway, and he kills super early and he has really strong matchups. He just loses really bad to like Samus and Steve. And then of course he randomly steals games, as I mentioned. It's really hard for Terry to accidentally lose unless you're an edgeguarding character, but as we've already mentioned, edgeguarding characters aren't particularly meta. Ridiculous. So silly. Yeah, Terry's broken. You know who's also broken? Because I forgot to put them a couple characters ago, but it's also a super meta relevant character, Cloud. His advantage is really good. You see Spargo have crazy advantage with this character. He has amazing neutral, like literally the second best neutral move in the game. The best being Steve up tilt, and then the second best being Cloud backer. -3, huge reward. It's a kill move, it's a combo or combo starter, or tech chase starter. Crazy good character. The problem is, I feel like Cloud can randomly lose because he gets hit off stage and dies. And there are some characters that can edgeguard Cloud even if you're not an edgeguarding character because all he has is air dodge and up B. And while he can swing, and while, you know, Spargo's recoveries are ridiculous, I feel like there's just an underutilization of edgeguarding Cloud, even to myself, because I mess up a lot and I still don't know the timing of his new up B. It's hard to bully Cloud, and Cloud does have some shit. I mean, did you see the Nico combo at the end of his set versus whoever he played? I think the next time Skyja gets hit, he dies. Like, ridiculous. That combo was absurd. So he does have some cheese because he can do this into finishing touch. He also has up air. Silly character has a lot of good tools, but like is a little exploitable. Like a little bit. Because we're getting to the characters that are either not exploitable or like don't give a shit. And Cloud gives a shit a little bit. And then we have the last character in high tier. The single best counterpick character in the entire game, and if you've watched my content or the PANDA content that talked about it, you would know who this is. Min Min. She's so good. Has combos out the ass. Literally everything you would need on a character. In the matchups that she is good in and the stages that she is good on, it feels so bad to fight against her. Does she lose to a decent amount of characters nowadays? Yeah. Diddy does well versus her. I think that Bayo does well versus her. I think even Kirby can do decent because Kirby crouches the whole time. I like that one's a lie. That one I'm memeing. Shulk does really well. Pika does really well. R.O.B does really well. There's a lot of checks that are also relevant that do well versus Min Min. And also there's some stuff about Min Min that a lot of people don't abuse, which is the fact that if you swing a move, it pings with the arm. So if you have a lingering aerial, you can just do an aerial through arm and then the second arm, unless it's Megawatt Smash Attack specifically. But also, my Mii Brawler Nair, weak Nair, beat out Megawatt Smash Attack. So I don't even know if that's true necessarily, but the problem is she is a character that can accidentally win because like, haha, I'm losing, ram, you win, right? Just two frame, like hit once, two frame, you're dead. But also she can randomly lose because her recovery and her disadvantage are par. They're not subpar, they're just par. Right, because there's a lot of characters with bad disadvantages, but hers isn't particularly good. So if you get under her and can edgeguard her, you're great. If you can juggle her a long time, it's gonna be hard. Like, her disadvantage is not good. And that's why I stopped playing her, because I think she does really well in the matchups that I need her to, but I am used to playing characters with broken disadvantages because I play Pika and like Mii Brawler who have really good disadvantages. But she's really, really good. Obviously, the results of this character are quite high. You have Proto, one of the best players in the world, co-maining the character. You have Justice, who just got top 8 at port priority. You also have DeBuzz play the character. She's fucking broken. If you want to put all these characters in top tier, sure, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, if you think these are top tier and then my top tier is just huge, that's fine. But I'm trying to have a little bit smaller of a top tier this time. So if you think they're top tier, I'm not going to argue. That was the end of high tier. Now we are going to top tier. It is literally 25 characters. And number 25 is one of the most seen characters at top level, the French Master. I'm sorry, that was really bad. I'm sorry. Gluto, Wario. Wario is a crazy character because Wario is one of those characters that in theory he loses 15, 20 matchups because he loses to sword characters and he loses to some rushdown characters and he loses to like Steve and then he nairs you once at 0 and you die. This is one of the characters that matchups does not matter. He has some of the best air mobility in the game, he has some of the best disadvantage in the game, he has one of the best recoveries in the game, so it's really hard to cheese out Wario. The only character that can effectively cheese out Wario is this one. And Kazuya is broken. Otherwise, you're not cheesing out the character. You may like a timeout the character with Sonic, you may play really lame as like this character, but overall, I just feel like Wario is absurdly good. He's ridiculous, and he has like good anti-airs, great combos damage, even without waft, his combos still do like 60 or 80%. He has an amazing back air, amazing forward tilt. Sometimes he does struggle to kill, but the problem is if you struggle to kill, you just are taking longer to get wafts and then the next stock is easier. Because again, I'm not gonna just say like, yeah, he plays a 2-stock game, because you still have to get the hit, and against certain characters, getting that hit is really, really difficult. But like, the fear factor is real, and then you start playing weird, you start getting bit all the time, and then you just die. Yeah, Wario's crazy good. You think Pikachu could be S tier or someone like Tweaker Leomandum? Wow, f you! That's a crazy, goddamn! Probably one of the most underrepresented, but everyone knows they're kind of broken character, Young Link. I know there are a lot of Younglings because you have Kobe, you have Colonies, you have Super Semi. This character is overtuned as shit, honestly. Like, they have great zoning, amazing combos, great normals, great combos in general with just their normals. They don't even need arrow. Then they have Boomerang, which is safe on shield, which is like 19%. They have drag down combos. The problem is this character is not great in disadvantage. They have like decent airspeed, but they kind of have to commit to one side and then they can like beer reverse, but like it's, you know, beer reversing with arrow or Boomerang, which are a little laggy compared to some other beer reverse options. And then their offstage is okay. Their recovery is good. It's not great, it's not bad, but it's good. But the problem is, at top level, there are so many characters that can just kill them for that, or just ledge trap them, because also Young Link can't really get off the ledge very well, so it's just like, you get caught off the ledge and you die for a lot of characters. But yeah, character's really good. I think it's more like this, actually, but Young Link is still ridiculous. Super, super strong character. Next up, we have one of the characters dominating Japan, 4 in a row, actually, of just really strong, dominant characters in Japan, and also the US for some of them, but specifically Japan. First one, Lucina. Proto Banham is a god, and while Proto doesn't do as well in Japan as some other players, he's ridiculous, and Lucina is just a strong character. She is a character that has nothing bad about her. I lied. Her disadvantage is kind of mid, and she's not great at getting off the ledge, but her strengths are so high that it doesn't matter. Good juggling. She has great edge guarding, honestly. Like one of the best edge guarding in the game, or at least Proto's edge guarding is really good, so it makes it look like it. Good out of shield options. She has good get off me options in terms of up B. Solid neutral. She has a gimmick in terms of shield breaker, because that move is fucking broken and breaking shield is fucking absurd. You like forward tilt them once and then just go like jump backwards and then shield break and they explode and they die at 30. Cool move. Love that design. /S. No, the thing is, she can just back air you, and like she's still solid, and it's not like a lot of characters can overwhelm Lucina to the point where she's struggling. Like, the most aggressive character that does well versus Lucina is, like, Pika. But also, like, she doesn't have a single -2 matchup. She's really, really good. Next up, a character I put in top tier last tier list, and then one of their players went on a ridiculous 640 plus game win streak on Elite Smash. You know it as the Yoshidora challenge, even though it's just a win streak challenge, but Yoshi, this character is so good. Has the best universal combo breaker in the game with double jump. You cannot deal with double jump until they're at a high enough percent where they're getting knocked out of their armor, and that's just not gonna happen very often. This character is dominating, asterisk less than a cola, in Japan. Yoshidora is like currently the 3rd best player in Japan. Yoshi has a solid recovery, has amazing advantage, really dumb combos. Like, he literally kills you super early. He has like falling up air ID or like double jump down air. He has great juggling. He has the highest air mobility in the game, which makes his disadvantage pretty good. He has a great command grab and a B reverse that he can do with it. Eggs are a strong, like, kind of get off, like not get off me tool, but like a weird zoning tool that can combo into stuff. It's a great advantage tool. He has a spike, which is amazing. He has a really good at edge guarding because he has that and nair. He has nair out of shield. He has good out of shield in general. He has up smash, forward smash, jab block setups, back air into up air, back air into forward smash, back air into back air. Back air and just in general is just a good move. This character is ridiculous. Yoshi's just a ridiculous character. He has a lot of reps. He's just strong, and he's like relatively simple in terms of pools, so he's a good pools character, and then he's also great at top level. He can't get shield poked, which is a thing that a lot of characters do. He just is strong. He has so many little things about him that are just broken. Next up, we have another character dominating Japan, and also he's come to the US quite a few times and has done quite well. Top 8'd in multiple events. Sora. Character's good, and people saying Sora's not good blow my mind a little bit. Character has had stuff for a long time. He has crazy combos. He has great neutral. He has strong projectiles, good edge guarding, great recovery. He cheeses out games like hell because he can get Nair, IDJ, up air, up B. He can get Nair F smash. He can get fair down tilt into up smash, like Nair up smash in general. This character's ridiculous, and people just pretended he wasn't for some reason. I don't get it. Like, so good. How is Sora better than Min Min? He's literally better than Min Min. The problem is, Sora, I don't know who Sora's bad matchups are. Because I know everyone's like, oh my god, these characters and these characters, because they're like underplaying Sora, and then Kamame just beats them all. And I know that, like, obviously one player doing really well doesn't mean you don't have losing matchups, and I get that, but like, he's systematically beating them. It's not like he's cheesing them. It's not like he's randomly getting lucky, but like, he just beats them all. Kamame is obviously an amazing player. There are also other good Soras that have been doing well. It's mostly just Kamame though. Just probably an underrating compared to most people what they think of this character, Kazuya. So Kazuya is like actually kind of broken. But the problem is, I see a shift in the meta. Not that Kazuya is not going to do well for a while. We've seen what T's done. We see what Riddle's done. They're crazy. If you saw what Mudace did to Riddles, you will understand, oh, this character has a big flaw. It's not off stage. The amount of characters that are good at juggling in this game are crazy. But everyone tries to edge guard Kazuya, like get him on the ledge. But the problem is if you get Kazuya on the ledge, he has neutral get up into rage drive, he has ledge hop side B, he has lots of things that are just like, I'm blatantly just throwing out risk reward, and I'm gonna probably win one of these situations and kill you. Kazuya has no reliable way to land on any upwards disjoint, which is like half of the meta characters in this game. There's a lot of characters that can just upper Kazuya, and again, it's fucking terrifying, because if you mess up once, he's back in neutral and he's gonna electric your short hop forward air, and then you're gonna die. He is the cheesiest character in the game, by far. Maybe second. He's the scariest character in tournament, because yeah, you can wall him out perfectly forever, but if you don't once, he's gonna kill you, because he touch of deaths you, easily. So again, just for reference, Kazuya is 20th in the game, which I think is fair. I think all these characters are ridiculous. Next up is going to be a character that I think I put it around the same spot last year, so I think I put her actually at 20th. She has stayed a consistent meta threat and is one of the characters with the best results in the game and has the most obvious win con, well, one of the most obvious win cons in the game, Samus. I know I lose to Samus. It's not about me. I promise it's not about me. It's fine. I thought this character was good before I started losing to her. It's fine. Has one of the simplest neutrals in the game with charge shot, fair, nair, bomb. That's all you gotta do. You hit someone once. You get charge shot, down throw back air, does 50 for some reason. You get them at the ledge and you do bomb charge shot, GG's. Shake my hand. There are like 2 characters that can get around this effectively. Her disadvantage, while exploitable, is only exploitable by characters with really, really good jumps. So think Falco, Zero Suit, because otherwise she's gonna bomb and be annoying, and if you overcommitted one time, you're gonna get hit. She has some of the best reps, like some of the most reps and best reps in the game, because you obviously have Siski, who is amazing. You have Icy Mist, who in my opinion is the best Samus in the US, but then you also have Teaser. She's so solid and has such an obvious win condition, because her ledge trapping is the best ledge trapping in the game. And having the best of something means that you're gonna play for it a lot, but Samus does so easily. Does she lose some matchups? Sure. But you know what? Olimar isn't super common of a character, and that's the worst matchup. Falco isn't super common of a character. That's another bad matchup. She's really good against most of the zoners. She also struggles with Steve, which is kind of not good, but also most characters struggle with Steve, so it barely matters. I think this is going to be probably the lowest I've ever placed this character, and that character is going to be Pokemon Trainer. Top, I think that's 18th? Very, very straightforward, very strong. They have obvious strengths. Squirtle is annoying and short and forward tilt and good aerials and throw combos. And then Ivysaur is up air, down air, Razor Leaf, up B, edge guarding. Charizard is back air and back air and back air and back air. But they're very good. It doesn't matter if you know what they're going to do. It's hard to deal with still because then they have a little bit of mix up, right? You have armor on your move. You have great out of shield options with Charizard if you get too aggressive to try to avoid the back air. You know, they can always swap, which is frame 1. They just have a super solid game plan, but not a lot of characters can effectively deal with this game plan. Like, it's hard to beat a Pokemon Trainer unless you beat all 3 of the characters, and not many characters beat all 3 of the characters. Like, some of the top tiers do, like the very top tiers, like I think Pac-Man does well, I think Pika does well, I think Steve does well, I think R.O.B does well, but most characters can't just be like, yeah, Pokemon Trainer, whatever. Really strong, just a lot of PTs have dropped the character / don't play anymore, like Leffen, so it's hard to say that the character's better than this when like, there are so many characters consistently either getting good results or are absolutely broken in theory, and PT isn't really broken in theory. Like, PT, the ranking of them was carried by their results, and now they don't have them. Character's still crazy. Top 20 is very, very good, right? So, yeah. Honestly, the character that has probably had has had recently really good results in growth, or growth in results, Snake. We have so many good Snake players right now. We have Apollo Kage, we have MVD, the DreamHack Atlanta first and third placing. We have Dio, we have Shogun. We have so many good Snake players. You have Kronos, who beat Tweak, who's also incredible. I'm sure there are more Snakes that I'm forgetting about because there's a ton. Snake is such a good character. And basically every single Snake other than Shogun solo mains the character. He is a little bit lower because I feel like the meta has just kind of gotten out of hand in terms of him, because I feel like he loses to almost every Fighter Pass 2 character because he loses to Steve. Aegis is like even, but probably winning for Aegis. And then in my opinion, Min Min is winning or even for Min Min. And then Kazuya is terrifying, even if it is maybe good for Snake. And then Sora is, in my opinion, bad for Snake. So like he got introduced to like 4 to 6 losing matchups. And he hasn't really got any changes in a long time. So the character's good. Down tilt, nair, back air. Grenade is of course incredible. Nikita is of course incredible. Good ledge trapping. Strong killing overall. You have down throw reads. You have so many little things. But his disadvantage is, while it's good, it's not great. And a lot of the top tiers can just disadvantage him, or like keep him a disadvantage for an entire stock, because they just do that. Like they just hit him. Even characters like Sephiroth can do really well versus Snake. Even like Incineroar does really well versus Snake. There are a lot of random characters that are like down here that do pretty good versus Snake, like Ike and Villager. Like even if they're not winning, they're still scary. And he's hard, of course, but I mean the Snakes are consistent, right? Like they all place pretty consistently. Like Dio and Shogun place very well. MVD and Apollo Kage place really well in the States. Kronos just doesn't travel as much, and he's like an up-and-comer, but he doesn't really do poorly. He sometimes just, you know, gets higher than his expectations. So yeah, Inkling also does very well, it's just the character, true. So yeah, Snake really struggles sometimes, but also he's broken if you can't deal with him. We have probably a huge underrating of the character relative to most people's opinions, and that's Wolf. I'm talking about Wolf being a solo main. Wolf is sometimes so hard to play because all Wolf is outplaying your opponent in neutral. But if you don't know what your opponent's going to do, or they're really random, it is so hard to play this character well. If someone is very sporadic with how they play against Wolf, it's really hard to fight against that. Like Wolf is a better character against better people, but then when you play like the high tier players, it's hard, which is why you've seen random super good Wolves like Moxie and Ouch get upset by people that are like random niche character specialists that do weird things. But do they play really well? Did Jackal beat the Buzz? Yeah. Was Zachary amazing when he played Wolf? Yeah. But like for some reason there's no Wolves in Japan and no Wolves in EU as far as I remember. So it's basically just NA. Wolf is really, really good, and I can understand if you think he's top 10 100%. But like he's so hard to play well against an array of opponents that are just like mashing their win condition at you, because Wolf doesn't have a win condition. Wolf is just better. Like Wolf's win condition is be better than your opponent. And sometimes if they're doing random stuff, even if you're doing like good things, you're just gonna get blown up for it. So we are officially into the top 15 characters of the game. Number 15 being Sonic. This is the highest I've put Sonic by a lot. Everyone thinks that this character is like top 3. But the problem with Sonic, if you watch the video, I'll put it in the description, which is over there. Sonic players literally are the only main of a character to actively and consistently play for their stupid win condition. Every Sonic player, you can be a mid Sonic player, you can be like a very okay Sonic player, no offense to okay Sonic players, and you're gonna play for timeout. That's just what you're gonna do. That's how you play the character. Tony Z Tank was okay. He was a good player, and he played for timeout. Sonic literally just time you out. Every single game. I do think that he is a little bit worse than people think, because people just don't exactly know how to deal with spin stuff, because who the hell would want to play Sonic in friendlies? This character just wins a lot because the results of this character are incredibly high. But I feel like, again, similar to Kazuya, the reason I put Kazuya lower is like, while the results are good, I think that people still do stuff very okayly versus Sonic. Granted, I used to think Sonic was like 25 or 30 or 40, and now I'm like, hey, he's top 15, sure. So still very good, and if you think he's top 10 or top 5, yeah, I don't blame you. Like, I understand. Next up, a character that we also don't see a lot of actually broken things that this character can do, but it's actually broken. R.O.B. R.O.B. zero to deaths you, and edge guards you, and has the second best ground move in the game, and also really good aerials, and also a good juggle game, but he's big, so therefore he's not top 10. He has ways to beat shield with gyro hawking. You have so much crazy stuff with this character. He's a better version of Wario, right? Because Wario struggles to get in, but can kill you with zero. R.O.B. doesn't necessarily struggle to get in, and also has projectiles, but can kill you. R.O.B.'s disadvantage is very real. R.O.B. just loses to most sword characters. because they hit him, they go, okay, up. Oh, you died, cool. Next up. So that's what R.O.B struggles with. And even though there are a ton of good R.O.B players, obviously, he has a lot of brick wall matchups in top tier and otherwise. Even characters like Cloud, like Zero Suit, like Falco, like Megaman, like a lot of these characters do very, very well versus R.O.B. But also, he can just zero death you, because sometimes matchups don't matter because you're clutch and you have down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, grab, down throw, you know, up tilt, up air. That happens, right? But yeah. At number 13, we have a character that has been doing crazy good recently with one of the most up-and-coming players in the world playing them. In Kurama, we got Mario. Wow, what a good character. Clean air mobility, great combos, great pressure, great out-of-shield options. But he's not super fast and he's a little stubby, which means that he can sometimes lose to random characters because they just kept him out the whole time because he doesn't have a comeback factor like Waft, even though he does have good combos, or like Gyro combos. He can't time you out, and he is very, very susceptible to parries because a lot of times Marios want to mash their really safe aerials, and so you parry them and get the hit. But he is great on basically every legal stage, especially even if you consider two bans. He gets rid of FD and Kalos, and then he just combos you everywhere. But yeah, Mario's ridiculous. Super good character. But you know who's just slightly better than Mario? This character's not top 10 anymore, in my opinion, because they're fucking hard. I mean, they might be top 10. They might actually be top 10, but who knows? Brawler. Brawler's like Mario, but a fast faller and better. But with no top player playing them, because the fucking two best Brawler players, myself and Bloom Forever, playing them as a secondary. So we're never gonna just do a full Brawler bracket. You can play mash and combo. You can play just crazy damage output, or you can play neutral, because this character's neutral is ridiculous. He is so good. Down throw thropper. You have multiple sets that you can play depending on the matchup, with a command grab versus a, you know, air dash attack versus a helicopter kick versus an up B that kills off the top. He has so many viable strategies and so many ways to deal with the counterpick stages. Bloom's Brawler is crazy. He like just plays neutral. He just dash attacks like over and over and over again, and it works because this character's neutral is ridiculous. But then if you hit someone and actually kill them, like I literally this weekend in friendlies got so many zero deaths by hitting literally a nair at zero, because it was nair, down tilt into nair, up tilt into nair, up tilt into IDJ up air, into up tilt into up air uppy. Like it just works. This character has some of the best combos in the game. Literally like equally as good to Mario's. We just see Kurama doing really well currently, because the Mii Brawlers are myself, who I don't really travel that much, and I also main Pikachu, and then Bloom, who mains Bea. I think there are more brawlers that are coming to life. I mean, obviously you have the other brawlers like Fire to Pyro, who's my editor, shoutouts, and also Leo Hockey, and I think Hikaru is playing this character more, and I think Riziasu also plays the character, and then I also know that Pelly's also playing the character more. So this character has a lot of reps picking them up, because this call-out character's f***ing broken. He's so f***ing good, and simple, and stupid, and easy, and his advantage is amazing, and his disadvantage is good because he's a fast falling, he has fast fall air dodging, he has down beam, he has so many options. I love this character. Someone said Palu or Shulk next. You are correct. Palu or Shulk is next, and it's Palu. I don't remember if I had Palu in top 10 before. I don't remember if I've had her outside of top 10 before, because this character is crazy good. Don't get me wrong. Palu is the most solid character of the remaining characters, because she has basically no flaw. She has great movement, invincible moves in back air and dash attack. You have one of the best up airs, if not the best up air in the game. You have a great forward air. You have two framing, that's down tilt into back air and down tilt into up air. You have Nair, which is a crazy move, but you lack out of shield options, and the problem is Palu doesn't really have accidentally winning. She can advantage state you for a long time, and like Nair, and then up air, and then up air, you fast fall, grab, down throw, back air. So like she has advantage, but she doesn't have anything that's like blatantly stupid. Like a lot of other characters are just, they have something just absurdly good. Or their advantage state is even better than Palu's. There have been so many times that I've seen Palu's like their Nair kill screens at 150 off stage and it doesn't kill, and then they randomly get hit at like 30 and die. Like it's like Zombo Louis Money sets are tragic. Also, Palu's kind of a dying breed in terms of results, because you have Louis Money, you have Raffalo, who's actually doing better in Europe. I think he's like the 3rd or 4th best player in Europe at worst. You know, there aren't a ton of crazy good Palu results. But either way, the character is still ridiculous. She's super solid. She's a great pools character. But again, Palu, kind of similar to Wolf and Lucina, even though like a better version of them, is just like, yeah, you have to play against your opponent because you're not so blatantly broken that you can just run up and do your stuff unless they like don't know how to deal with Nair, which like, cool if they don't know how to deal with Nair. But like once you get to like the high levels who are like kind of competent but like still doing weird things, this character becomes way harder to play because you don't know what they're gonna do and you have to move around people. So it's like Zero Suit where you have to like move around and be weird. But yeah, Palu's still really good. Incredible character.
Pikachu, busted.